Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to play a little game I like to call the Nyle Kiln Shuffle. So if you saw the last video, you know the old cat had a blown hydraulic hose. Well, I just put the new hose in this morning. That went about what you'd expect. A little harder to put it back in than it is to take it out. That's usually always the case. It's easier to rip bolts out than to get them started. But it went back in, took a 5-gallon bucket of oil, so wasn't cheap. A couple $100 later, but to be expected. Cost of doing business. So I did that before lunch, and I decided while I was working on it here, I would lube it. It's time to grease it. So got my gloves on, got my grease gun, and we're gonna get that tackled here first thing before we start moving some wood around. I've been going through more of these black latex gloves in a doctor's office lately. Feel like more wrenching on equipment than I have been actually sawing and doing woodwork, but it's all part of the game here. Part of it was getting all the Christmas tree farm stuff ready for harvest. So I'll get you set up here. We're gonna do a little greasing. I already got my cardboard in place. This is left over from this morning. Guess I'll do the worst first. This stuff underneath the steering cylinders. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I'm out of grease. My luck, I'm out of grease. Stay. I'll be right back. Take two, action. I don't really have to say that, it's just me here. I do all my own stunts and camera work. Back at it. Don't worry, I buy the grease by the case. There's never a shortage of grease around here. I seem to go through enough of it. And I know I keep threatening it, but one of these days I'm going to buy an electric grease gun. Oh, got a little air caught in there, I got to prime. Maybe sooner than later. Thing gets to be a real pain. There we go. Now we're cooking. So on this machine I got to do the center pins and the drive shaft. Probably the most important part of an articulated machine is this stuff right here in the middle. This is the stuff you want to last as long as possible. Because you can imagine what's involved in replacing these pins. The whole machine gets split into two. It's a big bill. So you do your preventative maintenance. So I got a ton of fittings on the boom here to do yet. Got to work my way up and down the booms, both sides. And then we'll be ready to go to work. You got to do all this work before you can go to work. That's why I need a stunt double. Or maybe my kids to get a little bit older. Give me a hand with this stuff. Pays to be tall for these upper ones. I don't have to climb up on the machine. Tell you what guys, I mentioned it in another video, but these lock and lube couplers, if you're not familiar with these, I'm going to put a link in the description. These things are worth their weight in gold. If you run equipment you'll love these things. Just squeeze the trigger, put it on the Zerk, let it go, it locks on, doesn't pop off, doesn't make a mess. All the grease goes into the cup, into the fitting. They're awesome. Lock and lube couplers. Look at the link in the description. All right, so the machine is greased. I am greasy, and now we can actually do some work. So what do we got to do today? Well, what is the Nyle Kiln Shuffle? That's what I call it when I have to switch around all three of my kilns at one shot. It's rare that it happens because they're usually staggered, just the way it works out. They don't all finish at the same time, but been busy with some other stuff here, and one just finished, one has been done. Actually, two have been done because the one is unloaded already. So I gotta load all three kilns, which it just makes for a lot of, you know, back and forth, in and out, just shuffling stacks of wood. So in the big kiln, I got some white oak. You guys probably saw that in past videos, just a small little batch we put in after we fixed that kiln, and that's been done. It's been sitting there, it's ready to come out. Going in is this stuff behind me. I got a couple of these stacks of 8-quarter lumber. It's 8-quarter ash and walnut, some really nice stuff. So that's going to go in. I have to scale it actually. I haven't had a chance to scale it yet. So I have to measure what's here before I put it in the kiln. So I'm going to work on that real quick, get this scaled up, and see what we're working with. Sorry, it's all of a sudden getting a little windy here. Hopefully it doesn't sound all muffled and windy. But we ended up with about 3,200, almost 3,300 feet that's going into this kiln. Yeah, this is going to be difficult to do one-handed. Yeah. I think I mentioned in a previous video about the kilns. One of the best things about these container kilns is these doors. Yes, they're a fight to open and close, but I'll tell you what, they seal tighter than any door you can stick build on site, guaranteed. So I'm going to get this open and roll up my baffle and wheel this cart out. I see somebody left the lights on overnight. There goes the electric bill. Yeah, those two LED lights. That's what's going to run it up. It's not the 3 Nyle kilns that run non-stop. Rolling tarps. I always try to get you guys cool shots, but man, that winch line was a little hard on the ears. Sorry about that. So behind me here is this white oak, nothing spectacular. I'm going to put it in the building and grade through it. It's mostly going to be flooring wood. We may get a few select boards out of it, we'll see. That's going in the building. That 8-quarter stuff we just looked at is going on the kiln. So let's see how fast we can get that done. Well, time out a minute. We got to get this set up and start pulling it in here. That's looking pretty high to me. My tape measure says that'll fit by 1 inch. My eye tells a different story. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna knock these 2x4 blocks down flat and gain myself another 2 inches. And I think it's gonna go then, but boy, it is gonna be tight. I had to break down these 2 stacks because I knew that they were too tall together. So I'm gonna get this cable rigged up. I pull it out first, then unfortunately I gotta run it underneath the track system here to make it work. That's kind of the only pain to this system. You gotta kind of fish it through there. So I'm gonna do that quick. We'll start pulling this in. All right, so I got the cart in about halfway. What I'm about to do here, well, it's one of those deals, don't try this at home. I wouldn't recommend it, but well, I'll just stick you out of the window and you can take a look. Hopefully we don't make a mess. Turns out when you want to knock blocks over, it's actually a difficult thing to do, but any other time it seems you just tap them the wrong way and the whole stack comes down. So hopefully we gained enough there to get it under the baffle. We're about to see in a second. I'm going to pick this last stack up and throw it on there. We're going to have quite a load in this kiln this time. Well, that, my friends, is a load. So we're going to see, by my tape measure, I've got 1 inch of clearance between that middle stack and the baffle. So cross your fingers. I think I'll set you guys up here. You're going to be the first to know what happens. I'll just have to listen for it and see. Well, I didn't hear you guys yelling, so I figured it was all right. I kept on pulling, and we made it in here. That is as tight as you can get. I am obviously not going to have to drop the tarps at all. No baffle required on those 2 stacks. I will drop this first tarp here for these shorter stacks. So that's an 8,000 pound winch. Doing some quick off the top of my head math, this is at least 15,000 pounds worth of lumber. So she was working, but it got it in here. So I'm gonna tarp this, close the doors, get her fired up, And to keep this from becoming an hour-long video, I'm going to skip the loader cinematics and I'm going to go load the small kiln, and I'll meet you guys up there. Well, we're up here at my smallest kiln, and this one loaded way faster. So this is my L53, the smallest Nyle, and this is actually the first kiln chamber I had built. And I started with an old Nyle L150 I bought from a local guy here that was going out of business. Ran that a bunch of years. A couple years ago I switched to this L53. It's a perfect fit for this little chamber. This is only a 13-foot chamber, so it fits 12-foot lumber. That's actually what I've got in here, is some 10 and 12-foot stuff. And it's nice for these little odds and ends orders. What I got here actually is some walnut. That's mine. And I'm piggybacking some custom oak for a customer. I'm just drying. They brought the wood. I'm drying it. I don't know if I mentioned the first kiln load there. That's all custom drying. I'm drying for another sawmill that doesn't have a kiln. So I don't know if I mentioned that or not. But I do a lot of custom drying. So little tiny orders like this, you can't really justify running a kiln by itself, but I'll just piggyback my wood or put two custom orders together, whatever fits. This is oak and walnut, but it's all really well air dried, so it can mix together just to finish it off here. So this kiln has the plywood baffles. I don't know where I'm at back there. Some of them, yep. Pros and cons. I like them. They work good. I am actually more fond of the tarp baffles nowadays, because this was a nice flat stack on the top, so they went pretty good. But if you have some weird short stuff on top, then you end up having to crawl in there with plywood and different stuff to try to baffle it. Case in point, I always keep some junk stuff laying around here at the end of the kiln to make baffles as I need to when I load. But this one went pretty easy. So that's it. I decided I'm not going to load that third kiln. I'm just going to let that sit a while, because I don't have anything I absolutely have to go in there. And to pull the walnut that's in there out until I grade that white oak, I end up with a traffic jam. I got too much stuff going. So I'm going to grade that white oak out. So I'm going to call it a day. It's a beautiful day out. It's actually unseasonably warm, so I'm going to go home, throw something on the grill, maybe play with my kids in the leaves a little bit. And this is probably going to be the last lumber video I'm shooting for a while, because we're going to be starting here probably in the next day or two. It's going to get much colder, and we're going to start cutting Christmas trees. So I got some really neat Christmas tree stuff coming for you guys. I did a bunch of sawing last week and recorded that, so I'm going to have some more lumber stuff coming out, even though I'm not actively shooting it. I have some stuff stockpiled for you guys, so there's going to be a lot of neat stuff. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and follow along with me. If you like this kind of stuff, you're really going to like what I got to show you with the Christmas trees. So we got a few videos of that coming out, and then eventually we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming here with lumber. So I got a lot of neat things coming up for you guys. So thanks for watching. Catch you next time.